Hi, Tim Alden here. Today I'm going to show you how we do our little clutch purse envelope pattern. We have these on the website. We got some different floral patterns that we're going to be putting on the website. We got one that we're going to show you in a video. This one isn't currently on the website. It's just something that I have for my storefront. So today we're going to show you how to put this thing together. You're going to want to cut your main body of this out. And what we did here, you can see we marked the outline. We left a little bit big. If you're going to be tooling these, sometimes you'll have a little stretch in your leather, and it's best to glue that down and trim it to fit in that section. So we just left a little bit big. Everywhere else, it is cut exact. We got our fringe pattern. It is a right and a left, so you're going to want to flip that pattern. Otherwise, you're going to be making two different bags. And then our front piece. We already showed you how to cut one of these out when we did the round knife instructional video. If you have any interest in looking at that, you can check that out. So we're going to go ahead and I'm going to line this up, and I'm going to mark where my snaps are going to go with my silver pen. I get them from Panhandle Leather. I also buy all my Herman Oak leather through Panhandle. They're super awesome people, and they have really good stuff. So we're going to go ahead and punch those out, just an 1/8 inch hole. And then we're going to put our snaps in. And so rather than on the front tab having the domed portion of the snap, because we're going to have that tooled piece, I want it flat. So I just used another of the flat back posts, and for the top piece we're going to use that side right here. And then we're going to use our line 24 snap setter here. And you just want to make sure that thing isn't moving around. You want it nice and snug. And then the other side, we're going to go ahead and put that direction. And this is just a 1-inch chunk of steel for an anvil. Want to make sure you round the edges off if you have somebody cut it with a bandsaw, because they'll be sharp. Same thing, just don't want that moving around. And snap together, make sure everything works good. We're good to go. So now we're going to, we already have the outline marked. We're going to lay this tooled piece on. I'm just going to take scratch all, and I've kind of rounded that point so it doesn't scratch it real hard, and I'm just going to tip it under ever so slightly under that round edge. It's just going to give me an idea where to put my glue. We'll go ahead and glue this down and let it dry while we cut our fringe. I use Aquilum. It's a water-based glue. I get it from Lisa Sorrell, and it's non-toxic. It sticks really well. We're just going to put one coat on each side. We're going to let this dry, and on the outside I'm going to go past my line. That way if something shifts, it's real easy to line things up. And I'm going to go right up to that line. If you do get past the line, just go ahead and stick your front panel down and then rub off the excess glue. It will rub off of smooth leather. We're going to get this all in here. Set that over there to dry. Okay, so we're going to let that dry until it tacks up. Come here, grab a ruler here. So we're going to have about a 1/2 inch overlap. And I'm just gonna mark this real light with my scratch awl. That way I can kind of know approximately where I want to stop my fringe. I like to use a rotary cutter and a ruler, and I always work from right to left or top to bottom, because as you cut your fringe, you're leaving your fringe behind you, and this slides smooth on the leather. If you make a cut here, it's a good possibility that leather's going to stick up and he kind of drags on it. So this leather, it's kind of got a little bit of body to it. It's a little on the stiffer side, so we're definitely going to want to cut our fringe pretty fine. So we're going to go just over 1/8 of an inch on our fringe for this material. If it was really soft material, you could cut it at 1/4 of an inch, but fine fringe is good fringe. And the number one thing that you can do is really hold your ruler down. That way your leather doesn't move under your ruler. And it all depends on the thickness of your fringe. So you can kind of see this one, it's kind of an oddball shape. It's just about right at the bottom, but it kind of gets a little wider just the way the angle came down. So if you have something like that, we're just going to go ahead and cut that last little piece out. And sometimes you'll have a wedge if it just kind of shifts a little bit, but we want those fringe looking nice and consistent. And so if you have any variation in your last piece, or if it's just too thick to get one piece of fringe, but it's too thin to get two out of it, just tack it off, that last one. Nobody will know it's even missing. And so this one, we're going to work from the bottom up. And so on the last one, I said sometimes you get a little funky edge. We're just going to go ahead, cut that guy out. It's amazing how a hair's width to one direction, say a 1/16 of an inch, which it wouldn't be that far off, 1/16 of an inch, one direction, 16 times is an inch difference in angle. And so you can see these are a little bit different now. So we're actually going to go ahead, we're going to cut one more of these out. That way our overall size is the same there. So now that we got our fringe cut, our glue is dry enough here. It's got some pretty good tack. If it sticks to your fingers, you're probably good. So we're going to line that up. We're just going to go ahead and stick that down. Press it real good with your fingers. We're going to go ahead and stitch this on, and then we'll come back, we'll trim it out, and we'll put our next pieces together. So we're going to start off in the corner, straight stretch, get everything tacked down. Make sure you hit your corner. Go ahead, snip our threads close. I'm going to go ahead and stitch over a couple of stitches, 3, 4. Okay, so we're ready to trim and go ahead and put the rest of it together. Okay, so we're just going to use a rotary cutter and we're just going to go right along that line and just going to cut right up next to that edge. Okay, so once we've gotten that, we're going to go ahead and put our little tab for our ring for our little wrist strap to snap to. We're going to go ahead and put that together. Just got some 1/2" tape from Springfield leather. So I'm just going to put it on one end. This is a 3/4" strap. This is the hardware that I had, and you can make it 5/8 or 1/2", whatever you want. Just want your ring and your snap to be somewhat the same. Main thing is, so this strap is 3/4" wide. You're going to want to make that tab at least 2 inches. That way you have plenty to stitch. And you want that D-ring to be able to swivel. So I just put 1 piece of double-sided tape just to hold it there. I did skive these edges just to thin that down just a hair. And go ahead and mark where our fringe is going to go. Hold that to the side. That's where we want our top to meet. And go ahead and put double-sided tape right along here as well. So this is the 1/4" double-sided tape here. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and stick our fringe in, and you want your edge right on that fold line that we marked. So it's just over 1/8 of an inch past to where the corner of that sits up against the brown and the corner of that sits up against the brown. I'm going to set this just about 1/8 of an inch from that top there, maybe 1/4 of an inch. Fold this where it matches there. Pull this. Right, like so. Go ahead and stitch these sides. It's looking like a clutch. So we're going to go ahead and put our strap on our snap here. And so we want to pull this through about 3/4 of an inch. You could mark this if you want. Approximately about 3/8 of an inch from your snap, because you want your rivet to just hold it with, the snap being able to move a little bit. We're going to tuck this guy in here, and we're just going to go ahead and mark it right there. And so you can kind of see with this type of strap, you're about 2 inches from the end for this hole, and then you're about 3/8 of an inch for that hole, and then 1/4 of an inch for the one that gets tucked inside. So we're going to use our 1/8 inch hole punch again. Okay. Put our strap on here. You can use whatever kind of rivet you want. I prefer the tube rivets. This is a 1/4 inch tube rivet for this thickness of leather. And then I just use a Heritage rivet set. We'll go ahead and start to flour that, where it just starts to open up, and then I'll put my cap on here, just like so. And this is just a little craft tool riveter. It just helps hold that cap down. You don't have to use a hammer with it. Okay, that's good to go. Just we can just snap that on. We're going to go ahead and stitch these seams here, and it's ready to go. So I'm going to have my walking foot just about a 1/16 of an inch in, maybe a 2/32 of an inch in. Whenever I have something coming out of the middle, just in case that bottom side has slid a little bit, I don't want my needle to come down and miss that bottom side. So I'm going to give myself a little more seam allowance than I typically like to, but it's going to be safe, and we're going to catch everything on the back side. We're just going to go down a couple here. We're gonna back stitch. And then as you're stitching up over this bulk right here, you're probably going to need to help your machine climb that hill a little bit. And so I'll get my needle close and I'll just manually lift that up. Back stitch 2 stitches and down to the front. Go ahead and stitch the other side. Go ahead and back stitch. Back stitch 2, forward all the way to the front. And go ahead and snip our threads and burn these. Okay. Put your little wrist strap on there and you're ready to go. Thanks for stopping by. Hope you like this video. Like I said, the plexiglass template will be on our website and we'll have some other floral patterns available with that as well. We'll see you next time.